Welcome back to the farm, everybody. I'm Jason. Thanks for joining me. So I'm back out in our starter greenhouse and thought I'd give you a quick update on the tomato plants. They have really taken off in the last week since the last video. They're every bit of 13 or 14 inches tall now. They are looking very nice. Sunny days like this do a world of good for these tomato plants. And as you can see over here, the second planting that I transplanted in the last video, they're starting to look pretty good too. They're growing nicely. So yeah, I'm really happy with the progress of the tomato plants. Everything's about a week late this year because I seeded them after my Florida vacation. Normally I seed them before my Florida vacation in mid-January. So it saves on propane too. That's one of the plus sides to holding off the crop. However, my season will begin at the farmers markets probably a week later, which is fine. They're always a little bit slow during May, but as long as I have a good harvestable crop ready to sell before Memorial Day, I'm usually in pretty good shape. That's when the season really kicks off for us, is Memorial Day. So today I'm out here working on finishing up the clipping and the bamboo stakes on the grape tomatoes. They're finally tall enough to get that job done. I did the inside rows here with the stakes, and I'm just now starting to clip them with these little clip rings. I showed them briefly in the last video. I forget what size millimeters these are. They go by millimeters because they come from Canada. So we just take our clip ring, go way up on the top of the tomato plant, and wrap it around that bamboo stake, and that's all there is to it. And now the exhaust fan's getting ready to come on because the louvers just opened up. So it's gonna get noisy in here. I'll be right back after that's done. All right, that exhaust fan finally shut off. That was noisy, almost impossible to talk over that. So yeah, I'm taking these little clip rings, and I'll just show you a couple here. So here's a perfect example. You can see that one really good. There is the top of the plant, and I like to get the most upper part of the plant that I can get the clip ring around, like that, and then just pop it around the bamboo stake. And now as that plant grows, it'll probably be about up there before it's transplanted in about 2 weeks. And just having that clip in the middle of the plant, you know, in 2 weeks that will be the middle of the plant because the top will be up here. That will hold it into place, and usually they don't tip over too much. I've had to put a second ring on some of them way up here in the past if I see a lot of them starting to fall over. But normally I have them transplanted, and I have a string trellis system that helps hold them up called the Florida Weave system. I have a video already on that. I'll link it in the description below, but I will also show that process again this year when we're out transplanting the grape tomatoes. So yeah, things are looking real good. And these here, you can see there's about, maybe 6 inches left from the top of the plant to the top of the bamboo stake. I'm getting ready to head to South Carolina for an RV camping trip for 5 days with my wife. So that's why I've been rushing through here today and yesterday trying to get all these clip rings and bamboo stakes done, because when I get back in 5 days, these plants will be to the very top of these bamboo stakes and ready for transplanting. So yesterday I got the rest of the perlite dumped in all the Beto buckets in the main greenhouse, the tall house we call it, and just got a few more odds and ends to get ready in there. I will show you guys everything we're doing in there on the next video, so stay tuned for that. And then the video after that, I bet you we'll be transplanting. So we're getting real close to getting real busy around here on the farm. So, alrighty, I'm gonna get to ring clipping and bamboo staking on these grape tomatoes. This is one of these jobs that would be really good for a short person because my racks are so low. I got to really bend over, so my back will get sore after doing this job. So I try to spread my legs out or bend over, kind of in a squatting position when I'm doing this job, because I don't like to get a sore back. And oftentimes when I get this middle row done, I'm doing this outside row, I'll work on my knees and kind of knee walk down the row. Actually, I can reach these back here by being on my knees. These aren't too tall yet. But you can see why I don't put bamboo stakes here. You know, do them all at once and then come back and clip them. I wouldn't be able to reach in here. You see how tall these are? I'd have to stand up and reach down and over. So this makes it much easier. What else is going on around the farm? You know what else it's about time for? Getting my corn planter out and ready for the spring. My marker arm cable needs replaced this year, so I definitely have some work to do on my corn planter to get it ready. Yeah, when I get back from this camping trip in South Carolina, it is going to be all out farming season for me, and I'll be busy. This is kind of my last little hurrah to get away and enjoy the off season. And here comes the exhaust fan again. Since I have the lav mic on, maybe it's still picking my voice up good. We're gonna try to talk through it. Doing this job really isn't that bad. My kids really hate it. It's just one of those little tedious jobs that once you start, you just want to get it done. Something about that exhaust fan that I should mention. We only use that this time of year when the air is really cold out and we're starting these tomatoes. Now when these tomatoes are all out of here, it'll be replaced with flats of peppers, melons, cucumbers, zucchini, squash, herbs, all that good stuff. And when it starts getting really warm outside and it stays warm and the night temperatures aren't dipping down in the teens and 20s like they are right now, we'll stop using the exhaust fans. And in the morning when the sun comes out and it starts getting hot in here, I'll just roll the sides up. That's something that's nice about all my greenhouses. They have roll up sides. So I manually spin the crank and roll up the sides. And if it's breezy, I'll just roll them up maybe a foot. If it's calm out and it's gonna be really sunny, I'll raise them up all the way. And then you get that fresh natural ventilation. You don't have to worry about burning electricity up, running the exhaust fans and louvers all day. Because when it's hot out, those things will run continuously, trying to cool this greenhouse down to where I have the temperature set, which is usually around 85 or so. So exhaust fans and louvers work great when it's cold, but when it starts getting warm, yeah, we'll just use the roll-up sides. And in the dead of summer, when I have maybe some late planted crops in here, like second, third, fourth plantings of zucchini and cauliflower, late cauliflower, fall cauliflower, I won't even have to roll the sides down at night. When you have 60 to 70 degree nights, I have the heaters turned off, thermostats are all turned off, fans, everything, and I just leave the sides up 24/7. The only time I'll roll them down is if it's really windy out or something. Probably a good idea to check the propane level before I go south. 45%. Yep, we're good. Since we're only heating one greenhouse right now, and it's a small greenhouse, a 30 by 60, doesn't take a lot of propane, so 45% is plenty. Now, once we fire this big boy up, we'll be filling that tank up every other week probably. So as you can see, I got all the perlite buckets filled up, front to back, ready for plants. And as I mentioned in a previous video, just gotta fill the water heater up, get fertilizer and acid all mixed, and reconnect all these water lines on the irrigation system that have been disconnected for the winter. Get the boiler filled up with water. One afternoon out here, should about have it ready to go. We'll double check the heaters and make sure the heaters work. I've already checked the fan jet, the fresh air louver up there, and the exhaust fan. That all works perfectly. And as long as these heaters are good to go, which I don't know why they wouldn't be, a couple hours of work out here and we'll be ready for transplanting. Now, one thing that I need to do out here that I put off last year is replacing this poly. It's a double layer poly. So the way this greenhouse is shaped, because it has a ridge vent up there, there's two sides. It's not just one sheet like your standard Quonset greenhouse. So this side was brand new last year, and this side is probably on year 6 or 7, and it needs replaced. There's a lot of holes in it. You can see it flapping around. There's not even, I don't even think I have the fan on it blowing air into the two sheets. But there's the new roll, and we'll be getting that put on as soon as we get a nice, calm, warm day here in the coming weeks. I'm gonna go down and show you guys the grape greenhouse. I haven't shown you that this year. But there's what I'm looking forward to right there. 5 days on the beach in South Carolina and the old Rockwood Mini Light. I can't wait. The last long trip of, I can't say the year because the year's just starting, right? But I mean, before my season gets busy. Won't be going on another long one until probably October when the season's winding down. any kind of little camping trips we go on, and backpacking trips or kayak camping trips, they all have to be like 1 or 2 nighters that include like Saturday, Sunday night type thing. All right, here is our grape greenhouse. And there's not much to see in here yet, but I'll just show you what's going to be happening here next week. So I got these all zip tied up on these T-posts, so we were able to sweep the floor out real nice. It's still pretty nasty in here. I'm going to have to get the leaf blower and broom in here and sweep all this up. So we're going to be laying down coconut core slabs, whatever you want to call them, right along the bottom where you see these holes melted into the ground cover. Originally, the very first year, we actually planted our tomato plants through the ground cover. So we melted a hole and then planted the tomato plants in there. But since the ground was chunky and rocky and just not very good, I have more success growing hydroponically. We decided to do the coconut core slabs, and it's worked really well for us. We get great yields out of here, and we use the Florida weave system to string trellis these grape tomato plants from the coconut core bags to these T-posts kind of. So we'll be weaving the strings between these T-posts, and I'll show that process in detail here in a couple weeks when we start stringing them up. Alrighty, well there you have it, a quick update on what's happening around Wishwell Farms. Not a whole lot yet, but it's going to start getting really busy here soon. A lot of cleanup going on in the barn and organizing, still receiving some seed orders for the year, and the biggest thing still coming, that is my biggest headache on the farm: hiring. I absolutely despise hiring high school and college kids and adults to come and help me on the farm. It's a necessary evil of vegetable farming if you're doing it on any scale whatsoever. It gets harder and harder every year to find good help. And you know, when we first started 25 years ago, we could get by with just me and my wife and maybe a couple neighbor kids, my younger brother, some help from church. But now that we've expanded to where we are, it takes a lot more than just some neighborhood kids to get everything harvested and sold. We usually have to hire 10 or 15 kids every year, and then, you know, hopefully 5 or 10 that come back from prior years. So we need about 15 or 20 workers on the farm every year. And back when we used to grow strawberries, from 1999 up until about 4 or 5 years ago, we would have to hire like 35 kids to pick all the strawberries. But back then it was easier for us to find help. There was kids chomping at the bit to work on the farm for their first job, so it wasn't that hard. But we need a little bit higher skilled, maybe not higher skilled kids, but at least kids that can drive, and it helps if they've had some kind of sales experience or have the right personality to help us sell our products at the farmers markets. We will reach out to our local FFA directors at the high schools and the ag director at the joint vocational school down the road, JVS. So I usually get some pretty good workers that way. I have never used the H-2A program to get migrant workers on our farm. I don't really want to go there. I have no interest in that. I mean, if we doubled the size of our operation, yes, we would have to do that. But at the size we're at, we can usually get by with just using local high school, college kids, and a few adults. Yeah, I have some friends in the vegetable business that are 2, 3, 4 times larger than me, and you know, they have to use migrant labor. And I've heard horror stories about all the paperwork and the housing issue. Yeah, it's just something I am not interested in doing. Well, I think this is where we're going to wrap up today's video, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you again real soon down on the farm.